I was at this place where we wanted to go on that journey, but really how ready was I? So I was in a place where I had to really think about that, and for me it was sort of very much outside of myself. It wasn't really in my body. So the process of going through the app really went from the concept being outside of my body to, I guess, literally the conception being inside of my body. I got pregnant really quite quickly after the app. So the tools are part of my pregnancy now. Don't think I could have done this without the app. I just don't know if I would have got to a place where I felt really at one with being a mother. I mean, maybe I would have got pregnant anyway, and I'd be having a baby anyway, and I'd be going through all of these things later on. But I just think about myself now, and even some people that I've told that I'm pregnant, they're like, "You? Really?" Like it's a massive energetic shift, huge. And it's a shift I didn't know that I needed. I was just gonna go through the process of getting pregnant and having a baby, and hopefully that all works out. But it has been paramount. And I just don't know who I would be as a pregnant person right now, or if I even would be pregnant, if I hadn't have done the app. It made me realise how many questions I had. I was going on a journey towards hopefully getting me into a better place for conception. And along that road, I learned a lot of other things, and I'm so glad. I feel like I just want everyone to know that there's other ways to do it. And Tom's glad as well, because we know more now, and we know what questions to ask, and we know what we know that there are variables. It's not just one way. So that's a massive part of it for me. Yeah. And that's helped me in taking action when I did conceive, action in seeking out the right advice and the right team around me. And it also supported us. So Tom had already had his mind opened up to all these other ideas when we got to the point where we had to make decisions. It wasn't a new conversation with new stresses. It was conversations we'd already had. So it was just a matter of choosing this way or that way, but it wasn't a conflict. And that's really helpful, especially when you have so many things to think about. It's so good to have already ticked all of those questions off, so you can just focus on the task at hand, which is now you're growing this child, you know? So it's a different thing, and I'm so glad that I've had that time, that we've had that time to process everything else. It opened my eyes to a lot of processes that I didn't know before. You know, you have touched on everything. So you don't need to see a naturopath, you don't need to see a massage therapist, you don't need to see a counsellor. It's all just in the app. Yeah, and it just got me into a really good practice with connecting to my body and connecting to my womb space, which had never been a part of my life or conversation, or I wouldn't talk about my womb on an everyday basis. So it was just really good to bring that into my everyday awareness as well. And yeah, it just made it real. It just made it in my body, and it made it real. And it made me feel strong and capable physically. Immediately after that, what I definitely took into account was how important the self-care was. And I was really focused on that, and I was really enjoying that. It was a good time for me to spend just, relaxing to start with, and also giving back to myself and putting my body in good shape. And it also, I don't know if this is a tool, but I had a different level of respect for my body. So a physical respect for my body that led to me making different decisions, like with the sort of exercise that I did, or the sort of things that I ate, or the when I wanted to get on the physical conception journey, and when I wanted to just wait. I just had a new sense of what was right for me. And so in a way that was a tool, because I just had a better awareness of what I needed. So I've been going back to different videos regularly. So the app is literally a toolkit for me, and there's certain things that I really connected to and felt like I needed to process a number of times, and so that is something that I can keep going back to. And even that spirit child meditation, when I feel like I'm maybe feeling a bit disconnected, then I can do that meditation and sink back into that connection. I prefer that it was online on an app, because it's a very personal journey, and you can do it in your own time, in your own space. And something as personal and individual as conception, to go through that in your own home, for me also home was a big deal. I didn't feel like I had my own home necessarily. So that also created a safe space to dive into this world. So having it online for me felt actually maybe better. I think everyone that takes the program goes on their own individual journey. You can't really cookie cut the journey. And there were elements for me that I didn't even know that I wanted or needed to look at. So it's hard to say by looking at it that it's for you if you don't even know that the information is so valuable and so useful and so important, and going to tell you things that you didn't even know that you needed. So and it really just kind of it blows your mind at the depth of it, and the responsibility of creating a vessel where you can bring a child into this world that's, free from ancestral trauma, and being delivered in a way that's the most natural and clear and uninterrupted. I think you say in it, it's an alchemical journey from wherever you're at through to a place where conception feels not only possible, but liberating and inspiring and exciting and free of fear and judgment and past beliefs. It's like creating a new paradigm for yourself, where you're going to transform from who you were before the app to who you are after the app. And I guess that in itself is a rite of passage. It's the becoming of you into a place of conception. And whether or not by the end of it you've conceived a child, just psychologically and spiritually and emotionally, all of these blocks are gone. So you can walk into the world just knowing who you are as a woman, and whether that leads to then conceiving a child or conceiving anything in the world, it's like you've come to this whole place, like you've taken this whole circle and now you're ready. If I think about what I've paid in the past for things, like this is 40 weeks. 40 weeks is a long time. So, I've seen a naturopath, I've seen a acupuncturist once a week for a year, and that's $100 a week. I've seen a naturopath once a month and she charged me $400 a month. So I would pay the same amount that I would pay for any natural practitioner. I would pay the same thing. I think everyone can do it. Every demographic, every type of person who is on the conception journey will 100% benefit from this. If the idea of having a spiritual transformational shift is something that gets you excited, then this is definitely for you. I think everyone should do it. And really, every woman would benefit doing it, whether or not she was going to have a child or not have a child. I would say everyone that wants to have a baby should do this, full stop. For anyone that's thinking about this, you're so sincere and devoted that I couldn't imagine doing this with someone else. I really couldn't. And I know that everyone to you is just as important as the next person. And you're very giving, and you're very focused on the health and the happiness of other people. And I would trust anyone going through this with you to be completely supported and get whatever they need.